The man who is always reachable is never read as important. He is read as surplus. You answer at 12:17 a.m. as if speed proves force. It does not. It proves emptiness. The message arrives late, vague, careless, and you still return it within seconds. On your screen, it feels like discipline. In their mind, it becomes evidence. A man with weight lets time protect him. A man with no claim on his hours offers them away before anyone even asks. That is the first judgment, not spoken. Worse than spoken. You notice it in small scenes first. The call everyone ignored suddenly finds its way to you. Someone says, "Need you for a minute," and your afternoon bends around words so imprecise they could mean anything. You leave dinner half-finished. You move a meeting. You arrive early. Then the people you adjusted for enter 10 minutes late, unworried, carrying the calm of those who expect the room to wait. You tell yourself this means you are reliable. It means something else. What comes too easily creates no tension, and what creates no tension creates no anticipation. Your availability removes the only question that produces value. Will he be there when I need him? They stop feeling relief when you appear because your appearance costs nothing. Repetition destroys suspense. Once suspense is gone, rank becomes visible. You think constant access builds trust. But trust is not what they are reading from you. They are reading ownership, not formal ownership, something quieter. One side decides the hour, the urgency, the interruption. The other side proves obedience by responding before being ordered twice. Watch the pattern closely. Nobody needs to command you directly. They only create the opening. You complete the ritual yourself, the midnight reply, the immediate yes. The schedule rearranged around a request so undefined it would insult a man who understood his own position. You call this cooperation because the other interpretation is harder to face. In the office, it becomes public. Someone repeats your idea louder, and the room turns toward him. Someone asks you to jump on this quickly while others are given time, context, and respect. A friend jokes that you are always around, and everyone smiles because the line works only when it is already true. There is a reason these moments feel small when they happen. The meaning arrives later. By then, the verdict is already stable. People no longer ask whether you are valuable. They assume nothing valuable is competing for you. That is why you are reachable. That is why you can be interrupted. That is why your presence can be summoned without cost. And the most dangerous part is not whether they see you as kind, weak, desperate, or merely convenient. It is that they no longer need to decide. Any definition humiliates you equally once you have taught them. Your time belongs to whoever touches it first. You see it most clearly in rooms where status is being negotiated without being named. You begin speaking. Halfway through your sentence, someone cuts across you, not aggressively, just efficiently. The room follows them. You pause, then adjust, then continue as if nothing happened. No one corrects it. No one restores your flaw. You tell yourself it was just timing. But something shifted there. Later, the same idea returns, cleaner, louder, carried by someone whose time is not as easily entered. The room nods. It lands. It is now theirs. You recognize it instantly, but recognition has no function here. You were early. They were positioned. That difference decides ownership. And still, your phone vibrates. Quick favor. Need this fast. Can you jump in? You answer immediately. You always do. What begins as occasional becomes pattern. What is pattern becomes expectation. Weekend messages arrive with no apology because apology only exists where resistance is possible. Others delay, others disappear. You remain visible, available, predictable. You think this makes you indispensable. It makes you absorbable. Because you are always there, you become the safest place to put weight. Tasks slide toward you without negotiation. Decisions move around you without explanation. You are included when execution is required, excluded when direction is decided. not because you lack ability, but because you have already demonstrated something more useful to them than ability: compliance without friction. Watch how dominant figures behave. They protect their time like territory. Delays are not mistakes, they are signals. Interruption does not land on them the same way. When they are absent, the room adjusts. When you're absent, the system replaces you, and the smallest signals confirm it. No one asks if you're free. They assume you are. No one hesitates to redirect you mid-task. Your silence in crowded discussions is not read as thoughtfulness. It is read as permission. Permission to move past you, around you, over you. You begin to wonder if they respect you privately. But nothing in their behavior requires that to be true. The same sentence gets written differently in attraction, but the verdict does not change. You send the second text before the first one has had time to settle, not because anything urgent happened, because silence starts pressing on you and you move to relieve it. She sees the message. Then the next one. Then the long reply you shaped carefully, the one carrying more attention than the moment deserved. Her answer comes back in 4 words, maybe an emoji, maybe nothing for hours. You call this difference in style. It is not style, it is position. When she suggests a plan, you are free, always strangely free. Thursday opens, Saturday opens, tonight opens, tonight opens. No resistance, no conflict, no visible cost. You think readiness communicates seriousness. It communicates the opposite. A man whose presence requires no rearrangement feels detached from all other claims. There is no tension in securing him because he is already standing at the door. And what creates no tension creates no suspense. So the emotional tempo moves elsewhere. Not toward the man who writes the longest message, but toward the one whose return is uncertain. The one she waits on controls the atmosphere without speaking. The one always present becomes reassurance, useful, soft, ambient. He is not pursued, he is accessed. There is a difference, and it reveals itself in small humiliations. Plans get cancelled last minute. You respond with grace too quickly. No worries, all good. Any other time works. You believe courtesy protects your image. It does not. It confirms availability after disrespect. The door stays open even after she closed it on your hand. That is what she learns. Then come the labels. Sweet, safe, different, easy to talk to. You hear elevation in those words because they are gentle. But gentleness can be a container, a way of placing you where you will not threaten the structure. She can admire your consistency and still never feel the risk of losing you. She can enjoy your attention and never grant it symbolic weight. Publicly, you appear favorable. Privately, your predictability empties the exchange of consequence. Watch the dynamic without lying to yourself. One side controls delay, contact, re-entry. The other side turns emotional labor into an offering and hopes consistency will become value. But value in these exchanges is not measured by how steadily you remain. It is measured by whether your absence would alter the field, and that is the pressure you keep trying not to name. You do not know whether she is considering you, storing you, or discarding you in advance. The categories barely matter now. What matters is simpler and far worse. She does not have to fear your disappearance. It does not stop with work. It does not soften with friendship. You see it in the group chat first. You send something: timing, idea, plan, silence. The message sits there exposed, unanswered. Then hours later, the chat wakes up again, but around something else. Your line remains untouched, as if it never existed. No one explains it. No one needs to. You tell yourself they were busy, but later that night, someone messages you directly. Can you pick me up? Need a favor. Bro, you around. You are around. You are always around. So you go. You arrive on time, maybe early. You wait outside while they finish whatever delayed them. You drive, you help, you fill the gap. In those moments, you feel included, useful, present. But notice when the invitations come, not at the center of the night, not when plans are being shaped. You are called at the edges, when something is needed, when something failed, when someone else did not show. You think this is loyalty. It is placement, because real allegiance is not built in the moments where you are used. It is revealed in the moments where you are chosen without function, and those moments keep happening without you. You hear about them later, the smaller group, the private joke, the plan that somehow never reached you. When you ask, the answer is casual. It was nothing. Last minute. You wouldn't have been into it, and you accept it too easily. That acceptance becomes permission. Watch how the tone shifts around you. A joke at your expense lands and you laugh with them. Not because it is funny, but because resisting would cost you position you are already unsure of. The joke passes as nothing serious, but it marks something. It tests how much you will absorb without pushing back. Each time you let it pass, the boundary moves further away from you. And still when they call, you answer. When they need cover, you provide it. When they need silence, you keep it. You show up consistently, without negotiation, without delay. You believe this earns something. That loyalty, repeated enough, must eventually return in equal weight. But watch carefully when your moment arrives. You call, they miss it, they reply late, they deflect, they turn it into humor, not out of cruelty but out of structure, because you have already shown them something about your role that they do not need to question anymore. You remain available, durable, reliable, and that is exactly why you are never centered. So the question begins to press, quietly, without resolution. Are you their friend, or the structure that makes their friendship easier to maintain? You begin to notice the pattern, not fully, not cleanly, but enough to feel something tightening beneath it. So you adjust. Slightly at first, you don't answer immediately. You let the message sit. 10 minutes, maybe 20. You tell yourself this is control. That time, withheld yourself, this is control. But while the message waits, you don't. You check your phone again, then again. The delay becomes performance, not position. You are not unavailable. You are watching yourself appear unavailable. And that difference is visible, even if you think it isn't. In the next exchange, you shorten your replies. You remove warmth. Strip the message down to something colder, more efficient. You've seen this before: men who speak less, who reveal less, who seem harder to access. You imitate the shape. But imitation carries tension when it is borrowed. Your silence is not read as authority. It feels like interruption, like something forced into a pattern that doesn't belong to you. The rhythm breaks, but not in your favor. It signals adjustment, not control. So you escalate. You decline an invitation. Not loudly, just enough to register. Can't make it. You expect something to shift. A pause, a reconsideration. Instead, the plan continues without friction. No one negotiates your absence. No one reschedules. The structure holds perfectly without you. You tell yourself that's fine. But the next time the message comes, you answer faster than before. You begin to display busyness, subtle signals, mentions of work, movement, other priorities. You construct the image carefully, believing that if they see you as occupied, they will value your time differently. But something underneath betrays it, because even while projecting distance, you remain ready. One opening, one request, and you return to position. And they notice, not consciously, not directly, but behavior adjusts around you. The interruptions don't stop. The tests become quieter, more precise. A delayed response from you is met with longer silence from them. A colder tone from you is met with indifference, not pursuit. The frame never shifts, because the frame was never yours. You borrowed gestures of power, but they still control timing. They still decide when contact resumes, when it pauses, when it matters. And every time you re-enter too quickly, too predictably, the signal resets. You delay the message, but you remain waiting. You skip the plan, but you stay nearby. You act distant, but you fear being forgotten. And that fear leaks through everything you try to hide. So the question remains, unspoken but increasingly sharp. Do they believe this version of you, Or are they simply watching how long you can maintain it before returning to what you've already proven? It does not collapse in one moment. It settles quietly, without resistance, into something more permanent than behavior. A reputation. You hear it in how your name is used when you're not in the room. Not with hostility, worse with certainty. He'll do it, just ask him. He's good for that. No discussion, no hesitation. Your agreement is already assumed before the request reaches you. And when it does, it feels almost redundant to refuse, because refusal would contradict something that now feels established, not by them alone, by you, repeated enough times that it hardened. At work, it becomes structural. Opportunities move past you without friction, not because you are incapable, but because you are already assigned elsewhere. Cleanup, support, execution. When something matters politically, when visibility carries risk or reward, your name is not the first thought. It is the fallback, the safe hand after the decision has already been made. And safety here has a cost. Outside of work, the same language follows you. Dependable, easygoing, solid, always around. They sound like praise. They are not. They are containment. Each word removes unpredictability. Each word lowers the perceived cost of losing you, because nothing about those labels suggests absence would create disruption. And power belongs to what disrupts when it disappears. You remember birthdays, you show up, you maintain contact, and still yours passes quietly. A message here may be late, casual. No one feels the need to organize around you. No one fears missing you. The asymmetry is not dramatic. It is consistent. That is what makes it difficult to confront, because nothing here feels like open disrespect. It feels normal. That is the final shift. Work, attraction, friendship, different arenas, same vocabulary. Safe, helpful, good guy, reliable. The categories merge until there is no separation left. You are understood the same way everywhere, by everyone, without coordination. And that understanding does not need to be updated, because you keep confirming it. The longer it holds, the less it looks like a phase. The more it looks like identity. Not something you are doing, but something you are. So the question becomes quieter, but heavier. Not whether this can change, but whether it already has, in a direction that no longer requires your consent. By now the pattern is too consistent to call unfortunate. Your boss sends something at 9:43 p.m. with no context, no apology, just the presumption that you will absorb it. You do, not always immediately now, not as openly as before, but enough that the assumption survives. In another part of your life, a woman disappears for 2 days, returns with sudden warmth when it suits her, then cools the moment you introduce friction. Elsewhere, your friends remember you when a seat needs filling, a ride is needed, a task needs covering, but not when the night is being defined. Different rooms, same conclusion. That is the part you were trying not to see. None of these people coordinated. No one held a meeting about your place. No strategy was spoken aloud. And yet work, attraction, and friendship all arrived at the same reading of you independently. Which means the signal was not in them. It was in what you leaked. You leaked access before being asked. You leaked intention before trust was earned. You leaked attention before value was established. And in every hierarchy, the one who leaks first loses the right to control the frame. This is not a personality flaw. It is a political confession. You have been declaring without words that your time can be entered, your focus can be redirected, your presence can be counted on without negotiation, so no one negotiates. That is the law underneath all of it. What is always obtainable is never fought over, never protected, never feared. Not because it lacks utility, often because it has too much. But utility without scarcity does not create rank. It creates dependence downward. You become necessary in the least honorable way, useful, reachable, stable, and therefore assignable. This is how demotion hardens without open rejection. You are not expelled. You are installed as support, as reassurance, as backup labor, as emotional infrastructure. People may praise you there. They may call you solid, rare, good-hearted, dependable, but praise inside a cage is still containment. The deeper consequence was never that they would hate you. It is that they no longer experience the possibility of losing you, and once that possibility dies, your place stops being discussed and starts being used as if it had already become your nature. The verdict was there from the beginning, not hidden, not complicated, just unpleasant enough that you kept renaming it. You thought your presence was being rewarded. It was being measured. Every instant reply, every rearranged schedule, every tolerated slight gave them the same piece of information. Access to you was cheap. So the world adjusted. Your message stays unread while you watch the screen, waiting for a response that would prove you still exist in their attention. At the table, your chair is there, but at the edge. The plan is already formed before your invitation arrives. Your name returns to memory precisely when something needs to be carried, covered, fixed, absorbed. And still, you once called this closeness. It was classification, because powerful people are not always absent. They are conditional. Their attention appears with limits. Their time has edges. Their access changes shape depending on who is asking and why. That uncertainty protects them. It forces calculation. It preserves rank without needing to announce it. You did the opposite. You offered yourself before the request was complete. You made your yes visible before anyone had earned it. You removed every friction that might have made others consider your cost. And once cost disappears, value is no longer argued over. It is quietly assumed to be low. That is why the social world moved around you so easily. Not because people misunderstood your intentions, because they understood them too well. Long before you recognized the pattern, they were already using it. Long before you questioned your position, they had learned what place to assign you. And the hardest pressure is not wondering whether that judgment was unfair. It is realizing they may have known what you were to them before you ever did.